First contact under fire. Captain Ilara Chen stood at the viewport of the ESS Dauntless, Earth's most advanced deep space vessel, watching stars streak by as they pushed deeper into unexplored space. 6 months into humanity's first interstellar mission, the excitement among the crew of 350 remained palpable. All systems nominal, Captain, reported Lieutenant Commander Raj Patel from his station. Quantum drive performing at 103% efficiency. Ilara nodded, brushing a strand of black hair from her face. At 42, she'd earned this command through decades of exceptional service in the Earth Space Forces. The Dauntless represented humanity's greatest achievement, a 2-kilometer warship equipped with experimental weaponry and defensive systems, built to explore and, if necessary, protect Earth's interests beyond the solar system. Commander Diaz, any anomalies on long-range scans? Ilara asked her XO. Sophia Diaz frowned at her console. Actually, yes. Picking up unusual energy fluctuations at approximately 0.7 light-years from our position. Pattern suggests artificial origin. Ilara's pulse quickened. Change course to intercept. Yellow alert. As they approached the source, the bridge crew grew tense. Humanity had theorized about alien life for centuries, but no concrete evidence had ever been found. Now, venturing beyond their solar system for the first time, they might be about to make history. Energy readings are intensifying, Captain, Diaz reported. Multiple sources. They're moving erratically. On screen, maximum magnification, Ilara ordered. The main view screen flickered to life, showing distant flashes of light against the backdrop of space. The computer enhanced the image, and the bridge fell silent. Ships, dozens of them. 2 distinct groups engaged in what could only be described as combat. Energy beams crisscrossed the void between crystalline vessels that sparkled like diamonds and darker, angular ships that seemed to absorb light around them. My God, whispered Raj. We're witnessing an interstellar battle. Ilara gripped the arms of her command chair. Maintain distance. Passive scans only. I want to understand what we're seeing before we make any moves. Captain, called Lieutenant Park from Tactical, the darker vessels appear to be targeting civilian ships. Based on their movements and the energy readings, I believe we're witnessing an attack on non-military vessels. Ilara stood, studying the battle unfolding before them. Are we detecting any communications? Distress signals? Nothing we can decode, but there are significant transmissions between vessels. Communications Officer Garcia replied. Before Ilara could respond, alarms blared across the bridge. Captain, one of the dark vessels has broken formation. It's on an intercept course with us. Diaz shouted. Red alert. Shields up. Ilara ordered, returning to her chair. Prepare defensive systems, but hold weapons. We don't know their intentions. The alien vessel approached rapidly, its hull seemingly constructed of overlapping black plates that moved and shifted like scales. Without warning, it fired. A beam of purple energy lanced across space, striking the Dauntless directly. The human ship shuddered slightly, but stabilized quickly. Shields holding at 92%, Captain, reported Park with surprise in his voice. That was a significant energy discharge, but our quantum barrier diffused most of it. The alien vessel paused, as if equally surprised by the ineffectiveness of its attack. They fired without provocation, Ilara said, her voice hardening. Target their weapons systems only. Fire a warning shot. 1 railgun round, minimal yield. The Dauntless's main railgun charged with a low hum. The electromagnetic launcher fired a single tungsten rod at 12% of light speed. The projectile crossed the void almost instantly, striking the alien vessel's forward section. The impact was devastating. Shields flared and collapsed, and secondary explosions rippled across its hull. Direct hit, Park reported in disbelief. Their shields are completely down, and they've lost propulsion. The damaged vessel drifted, venting atmosphere and debris. 3 more dark ships broke from the main battle. accelerating toward the Dauntless. Multiple hostiles approaching, Captain Diaz warned. Evasive maneuvers. Prepare full defensive array, Ilara commanded. Before the dark ships could engage, one of the crystalline vessels intercepted them, firing brilliant beams of blue-white energy. The exchange was brief but intense. The crystalline ship took heavy damage, but disabled one of the attackers. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the crystalline vessel, Garcia announced. It's attempting to match our communications protocols. On screen, Ilara ordered. The view screen shifted to show the interior of an alien vessel. The being on screen had iridescent skin that shifted between blue and violet. Its 4 eyes blinked independently, and tendrils framed what appeared to be a face. When it spoke, the ship's AI struggled to translate. Unknown vessel. Assistance. Grateful. Hegemony attacks. Civilians. This is Captain Ilara Chen of the Earth spaceship Dauntless. She responded clearly. We mean no harm. We witnessed your vessels under attack. The alien's tendrils rippled. Earth? Unknown. Hegemony destroys. Help us. Ilara made a quick decision. We will assist. The attacking vessels fired upon us without provocation. Gratitude. Shields failing. Protect transports. The view screen returned to the external view. The crystalline ship positioned itself between the remaining dark vessels and a group of smaller ships clearly attempting to escape. Analysis. Commander Diaz, Ilara asked. Sophia studied her readings. The crystalline ships appear to be protecting civilian transports. The dark vessels, the hegemony they mentioned, are systematically targeting those transports. It looks like attempted genocide, Captain. Ilara stood, her decision made. Target the hegemony vessel's propulsion and weapon systems. Full spread of kinetic penetrators, followed by EMP warheads. Let's show them Earth isn't helpless against bullies. The Dauntless moved into position, its massive hull gleaming under the light of distant stars. Multiple weapons ports opened along its length. Firing solution ready, Captain, Park announced. Fire. The human warship unleashed its arsenal. Hundreds of hypervelocity projectiles streaked toward the hegemony vessels, followed by missiles carrying electromagnetic pulse warheads. The attack was precise and overwhelming. 2 hegemony ships lost power immediately, a third spun out of control with significant hull breaches, and the 4th managed only to retreat, trailing debris. The remaining hegemony fleet paused its attack, clearly reassessing the situation. Within minutes, they began to withdraw, regrouping at the edge of the system before disappearing in flashes of light, some form of faster-than-light travel. They're retreating, Captain, Diaz confirmed. All hegemony vessels have left the immediate area. Damage report. Shields at 74%. Minor stress fractures in the outer hull plating. Nothing critical, Raj reported. We're receiving multiple transmissions from the crystalline ships, Garcia said. I think they're trying to thank us. Open a channel to their lead vessel, Ilara ordered. The alien commander appeared again. The AI translation was improving rapidly. Unknown allies. Earth vessels. Saved many lives. Arcadian alliance. Grateful. Must speak. Important. We're willing to communicate further, Ilara responded. Do you have a safe location nearby where we can meet? The alien's tendrils moved in what might have been agreement. Sanctuary station. Orbital facility. Repairs and discourse. 6 hours later, the Dauntless docked with an enormous crystalline structure orbiting a blue-green world. Through careful communication, they learned the aliens called themselves the Luminary, one of 12 species in the Arcadian Alliance. Their adversaries were the Hegemony, a collective of species bent on galactic domination through conquest and assimilation. In a meeting chamber aboard the station, Captain Chen and her senior officers sat across from Sentinel Zirax, the Luminary commander. Your arrival was most fortuitous, Zirax said, the translation now much smoother. Those transports carried refugees from a world the hegemony recently conquered, mostly children and elders. We couldn't stand by while civilians were attacked, Ilara replied. But we're explorers, not warriors. This is humanity's first venture beyond our solar system. Xurax's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, apparently an expression of shock. First venture. Impossible. Your technology, your weapons, they devastated hegemony vessels that our fleet struggles against. Commander Dias leaned forward. We developed independently. Earth has never encountered alien life before today. Fascinating. Xurax's tendrils rippled with excitement. Your weapons, physical projectiles at relativistic speeds, the hegemony has no effective defense against such attacks. Their shields are calibrated for energy weapons. Lieutenant Park nodded. We noticed their vulnerability. Our railguns are standard technology for us, centuries old in concept, though refined. And your defensive barriers withstood hegemony disruptors, Xurax continued. No Alliance shield has ever performed so effectively. Ilara considered this information carefully. Sentinel Xurax, what exactly is happening here? We need to understand the situation we've inserted ourselves into. The Luminary Commander activated a holographic display showing vast swaths of the galaxy. Areas highlighted in blue represented Alliance territory, while red showed hegemony control. The red had clearly been expanding. The war has raged for 70 cycles, Xurax explained. The hegemony believes in forced evolution through conquest. They absorb useful traits and technologies, discard the rest. Billions have died. Dozens of species extinct. Ilara studied the map. And Earth. Where are we in relation to all this? Xurax adjusted the display, zooming out significantly. A small green dot appeared far from both red and blue territories. Your system exists here, in what we call the Void Expanse. No advanced civilization has explored there in millennia. Many believe the region lifeless or uninhabitable. The human officers exchanged glances. Earth had been isolated, developing without outside influence, which explained their different technological path. The hegemony will not forget this encounter, Xurax warned. Once they analyze your technology, they will seek your world. It is their way. Ilara felt a chill. Humanity had just announced its presence on a galactic stage in the most dramatic way possible, by humiliating a conquering force. How long before they could reach Earth? She asked. Their fastest ships. Perhaps 1 of your years, but they will come with overwhelming force when they do. Ilara stood, facing her officers. We need to make a decision. Our mission was exploration, but circumstances have changed. Earth is now potentially threatened, and we've already engaged in combat. Commander Dias spoke first. Our duty is to protect Earth. If these hegemony forces are as dangerous as described, we need to learn everything we can about them. Lieutenant Park nodded. And establish relations with potential allies. The Alliance seems to share our values regarding civilian protection. Ilara turned back to Xurax. Sentinel, the ESS Dauntless offers its assistance to the Arcadian Alliance. We need to understand this threat, and it seems our technologies may complement each other. Xurax's skin rippled with color, clearly an emotional response. This is unexpected but welcome. Your vessel's capabilities could turn the tide in critical engagements. Then it's settled, Ilara said. We'll coordinate with your forces, share what technology we can, and prepare for the inevitable hegemony response. And somehow, we need to get a warning back to Earth. As the meeting continued into the night, Ilara couldn't help but reflect on the historic nature of humanity's first contact. Not a peaceful exchange of knowledge as many had hoped, but battlefield allies against a common enemy. Human history was filled with such encounters. Perhaps it was fitting that their galactic introduction would follow the same pattern. The Dauntless, designed to explore new frontiers, would now help defend them. And somewhere, across the void, Earth remained blissfully unaware that the galaxy had just become a much more dangerous place, turning the tide. 2 weeks after their fateful encounter with the hegemony, The ESS Dauntless orbited Arcadia Prime, the heart of the Alliance. Captain Ilara Chen stood in the ship's engineering bay, watching her team work alongside luminary technicians to integrate technologies. The quantum barrier schematics are proving difficult for them to understand, Chief Engineer Kwame Okonkwo reported. Their shield technology uses principles our physicists have never considered. And vice versa, Ilara noted, observing a luminary engineer's fascination with a railgun assembly. Keep at it. Any breakthrough could save lives. Her comms unit chimed. Captain, we've received word. The Hegemony fleet has been detected approaching the Nexus system. Commander Diaz's voice reported. Alliance Command requests our presence at the strategic planning session. In the command center of Arcadian Station, holographic displays showed the approaching Hegemony Armada. Over 60 warships moving in perfect formation toward Nexus, a vital Alliance manufacturing hub. Sentinel Zirax addressed the gathered commanders, including representatives from 3 other Alliance species, the reptilian Vrek, the crystalline Tholians, and the gaseous myriad contained in mechanized suits. The Hegemony approaches with unprecedented numbers, Zirax stated grimly. They seek to overwhelm our defenses through sheer force. Our projections indicate Nexus will fall within days. The Alliance commanders discussed traditional defensive formations, resignation evident in their voices. They had fought this war for decades, losing ground steadily to the Hegemony's superior numbers. Ilara studied the tactical display, then stepped forward. Your approach is predictable. The Hegemony knows exactly how you'll respond, which is why they continue to win. A Vrek commander hissed. And what we humans suggest? Your species has fought one skirmish. Humans have been fighting wars against superior numbers throughout our history. Ilara replied evenly. Lieutenant Park, present our alternative strategy. Park activated a separate holographic display. The Hegemony relies on overwhelming force and perfect coordination. We propose disrupting both advantages. The display showed the Alliance fleet broken into small mobile strike teams rather than the traditional defensive sphere. The Dauntless and 3 Alliance heavy cruisers would form a central battle group, while the smaller vessels would operate in wolf packs, striking from multiple vectors. This is madness, a Tholian commander chimed, their crystalline form vibrating with agitation. Dividing our forces ensures our destruction. Not if we coordinate properly, Commander Diaz countered. The Hegemony expects you to fight as you always have. They don't expect asymmetric warfare. Sentinel Zirax's tendrils rippled thoughtfully. The approach has merit. The Hegemony is adaptable but slow to change established tactics. If we could disrupt their formation. Additionally, Park continued, we've analyzed the Hegemony's propulsion signatures. Their faster-than-light drives leave a unique energy wake that makes their arrival points predictable. We can position our forces to strike the moment they drop out of FTL, before they form up. For 3 hours, debate raged in the command center. Eventually, faced with the alternative of certain defeat using traditional methods, the Alliance commanders reluctantly agreed to the human strategy. The fleet dispersed, each battle group assuming position around the Nexus system. Aboard the Dauntless, Ilara addressed her crew. This isn't our home, and these aren't our people. But today, we stand for the same principles Earth's militaries have always defended: protection of the innocent against aggressors. The Hegemony threatens not just the Alliance, but eventually Earth itself. We will show them humanity as a force to be reckoned with. As predicted, the Hegemony fleet arrived precisely where the human analysts had calculated. The moment the first ships materialized in normal space, Alliance strike teams attacked from multiple vectors simultaneously. On the Dauntless Bridge, Ilara watched the battle unfold. Target their command and control nodes first, she ordered. All railguns, continuous fire. Launch EMP missiles to disrupt their communications. The human warship unleashed destructive force that shocked even their new allies. Hypervelocity rounds tore through Hegemony shields calibrated for energy weapons, while electromagnetic pulses disrupted their coordination. Meanwhile, the Alliance wolf pack struck with unprecedented aggression, hitting the enemy's flanks and engines before withdrawing to regroup. The hegemony vessels are attempting to reform their standard attack pattern, Dias reported. Their movements are becoming erratic. They're confused, Park added. Their command structure is hierarchical, without clear direction. Individual captains don't know how to respond to our tactics. For the first time in the long war, the hegemony fleet appeared disorganized. As the battle progressed, their losses mounted. Alliance casualties remained minimal due to the mobility of their forces and the protective firepower of the Dauntless. 3 hours into the engagement, sensors detected a massive energy buildup from the hegemony flagship, a dreadnought twice the size of any other vessel. They're preparing to deploy their primary weapon, Zirax warned from his vessel, a gravitational disruptor. It could tear apart half the system. All forces clear the engagement zone, Ilara ordered. Dauntless will handle this. Captain, what are you planning? Commander Dias asked as the Alliance vessels retreated. Ilara's expression was determined. Chief Engineer, is the modified quantum torpedo ready? Yes, Captain, Quame answered over comms. But it's untested. The integration of Alliance phase technology with our quantum warhead is theoretical. It's about to be practical. Prepare to fire on my mark. The Dauntless accelerated directly toward the hegemony dreadnought, its engines pushing to maximum output. The distance closed rapidly. Enemy weapon at 87% charge, Park reported. 1 minute to discharge. Launch quantum torpedo. Ilara commanded. From the Dauntless's main launch tube, a single torpedo sped toward the dreadnought. It appeared to shimmer as the phase technology activated, partially shifting the weapon out of normal space-time and detonated. The explosion was unlike anything previously witnessed in the conflict. The quantum detonation, enhanced by the phase technology, created a localized space-time distortion that imploded the dreadnought's power core. The massive vessel collapsed in on itself before detonating in a blinding flash. Direct hit, Park confirmed unnecessarily, as the view screen adjusted to compensate for the explosion's brightness. Hegemony flagship destroyed. Without their command vessel, the remaining hegemony ships faltered. Some attempted to continue fighting. Others began immediate withdrawal. Within an hour, the battle was over, the most decisive victory the Alliance had achieved in 70 years of conflict. As Alliance vessels regrouped, the communication system flooded with messages of gratitude and disbelief. Sentinel Zirax's image appeared on the Dauntless's main screen. Captain Chin, the Alliance owes you and your crew a debt that cannot be measured, the Luminary commander said, tendrils rippling with emotion. For the first time, we have hoped this war might end with something other than extinction. Ilara nodded acknowledgement. The victory belongs to all of us, Sentinel. But this is just the beginning. The hegemony will adapt to our tactics eventually. By then, we will have implemented your technologies more broadly, Zirax replied. Already, our engineers are designing railgun prototypes and modifying our shields based on your quantum barrier principles. 2 days later, representatives from all 12 Alliance species gathered on Arcadia Prime. Captain Chen and her senior officers stood before the Alliance Council as honored guests. The Council Premier, a Tholian elder whose crystalline form glittered with age and wisdom, addressed them formally. The Battle of Nexus represents a turning point in our long struggle. Human ingenuity and courage have given us a critical victory and renewed hope. Ilara stepped forward. The Alliance and humanity share common values: protection of the innocent, respect for diversity, and defense against tyranny. While the ESS Dauntless is just one ship, we believe this partnership represents the beginning of a new era for both our civilizations. To that end, the Premier continued, the Council proposes establishing permanent diplomatic relations with Earth. We would send representatives to your homeworld and welcome your diplomats among us. Additionally, added a Vrek counselor, we offer technological exchange. Our faster-than-light drives could allow you to establish a network between Earth and Alliance space. In return, Your defensive innovations would strengthen our position against the hegemony. Ilara glanced at her officers before responding. I'm authorized to establish preliminary relations on behalf of Earth. However, formal treaties will require ratification by our government. One more matter, Zirax interjected. Intelligence reports indicate the hegemony has dispatched scout vessels toward the region you call the solar system. They move with purpose. The implications were clear. Earth's isolation was over, whether humanity was ready or not. Then we need to warn Earth immediately, Ilara stated, and prepare them for what's coming. The Premier nodded gravely. The Council has prepared our fastest vessel to carry you and your ship back to your homeworld. With modifications, the journey can be completed in weeks rather than months. As preparations for departure began, Ilara stood alone on the observation deck of Arcadia Station, watching distant ships come and go against the backdrop of space. Commander Diaz joined her, offering a data tablet. The Alliance engineers completed their analysis of hegemony technology, Sophia reported. It's fascinating. Despite their aggression, they've made remarkable advances in biointegration and neural networks. Ilara continued gazing outward. We came looking for knowledge about the universe and found war instead. We found allies, Sophia countered, and perhaps saved Earth in the process. Earth will never be the same once we return, Ilara sighed. Isolation protected us, allowed us to develop at our own pace. Now we're being thrust onto the galactic stage centuries before we might have found it ourselves. Is that so terrible? Look what we've already accomplished. Sophia gestured toward a damaged Alliance cruiser being repaired. Human innovations turned a losing war around in a single battle. Ilara finally smiled. You're right, of course. Humanity has always adapted to challenges. This will be our greatest test, but I believe we'll rise to it. 1 week later, the ESS Dauntless departed Arcadia Prime, accompanied by 3 Alliance vessels. Its mission had transformed dramatically, from exploration to diplomacy, from discovery to defense. They carried with them knowledge that would forever change human civilization, and a warning of dangers approaching from the depths of space. As the small fleet activated their faster-than-light drives, Ilara Chen recorded her final log entry before the jump. We set out to discover what lies beyond our solar system. We found wonders and terrors in equal measure. We learned that humanity is not alone, nor are we safe in our isolation. But we also discovered that human ingenuity, courage, and determination are not unique to Earth. They are universal values, shared by allies across the stars. And together, we stand stronger than alone. The journey home is just the beginning. In a flash of light, the ships vanish, racing toward Earth and the dawn of a new age for humanity among the stars.